TCU versus UT brings lights, camera, and action to the LBJ lawn. How Texas football takes center stage.
The Texas legislature kicks off in January. Here's what you should expect from the 900 bills lawmakers hope to pass.
And the challenges UT students face during the midterm election. Reporting Texas TV starts now. Good evening, I'm Lucy Lopez.
And I'm Emma Claire Ellis.
ESPN's Traveling College Game Day show made another stop in Austin this past weekend as the Texas Longhorns took on the TCU Horned Frogs.
The amount of work that goes into this is simply mind-blowing. Cecilia Rodriguez is live in the studio with us on more on how the university prepares for College Game Day here on campus.
Hundreds of people and signs flooded the LBJ lawn Saturday morning for the nation's most watched college football show, with Texas fans waiting to hear from their very own Jordan Spieth as the selected guest picker.
This year marks 23 years of College Game Day, a weekly program traveling across the country to different college campuses, breaking down important college football matchups and starring sports legends.
Most times you'll get a heads up that there's a short list and you're on it to be prepared. And then either late Saturday night or sometime on Sunday morning, typically, you'll get the call that it is in fact confirmed, we are headed.
Hosting Game Day on campus is an opportunity like no other, according to UT Athletics. After getting the call, the work starts immediately.
Fun parts for me starts actually then, which is, could we get, this person as a guest picker? Or could we have this person on the air? What if we tried this? Or, could Bevo do these things? That's the fun part.
College Game Day has graced the University of Texas's campus 9 times in its history, the first time being in 1999. However, this is the first time they've graced the University of Texas's campus twice in one season, right here in Austin, Texas.
College Game Day travels with a massive set that is built up and torn down weekly.
I was struck by the scope of everything backstage. Obviously, if you've seen the show on a Saturday morning, you have a sense of what it looks like with the cameras, but there's a lot happening backstage and so much planning and so much personnel that goes into making sure that show runs well.
Giving students a great experience and maybe even a chance for themselves or their signs to make it on TV.
While the final score was disappointing for Texas fans, College Game Day coming back to Austin showed how much the University of Texas is revered in the sports world.
The state of Texas is now busing migrants to Philadelphia. That's according to an announcement from Governor Greg Abbott earlier this week. Philadelphia is the 4th city to receive migrant buses, after Washington, D.C., New York City, and Chicago. It's all part of the governor's response to migrants from Mexico, what he described in a tweet as an invasion at the border.
I don't think it is a change in overall tactic as much as it is a reminder to all of to Congress and to the members working the issue that this is serious and it demands a full and a serious response.
In the same tweet, the governor added a list of measures the state will take, including deploying gunboats and building walls along multiple border counties. It's all against what he calls open border policies under the Biden administration. With the opportunity to decide who gets to make important decisions in Texas, UT students were able to cast their vote on campus for the recently held midterm elections.
Reporting Texas TV's Lizette Lopez and Katie Pratt have worked all semester long talking with students on campus about how they plan to take part in the political process. We have them live with us here in studio to find out what they've learned through their reporting.
Welcome, Katie, and welcome, Lizette. So tell us a little bit about what made you decide to follow student engagement during the midterms.
Yeah, there were a lot of major events that have happened since the start of 2022, like the Uvalde shooting, Roe versus Wade being overturned, rising inflation, and these all really motivated students to begin to take politics and the election very seriously. Lisette and I wanted to see how these events would change, if at all, student engagement during the midterms, which has historically not seen a high number of voting turnout, and what that engagement would look like at UT.
And Lizette, what were your findings about how students engaged politically during these elections?
Emma Claire, we found that a large amount of UT students were energized about this election, which you could see just by walking down Speedway or West Mall. The number of students registered to vote was also up.
That's really interesting. And what was one of the major highlights from this experience from the both of you?
Something we uncovered was just how left-leaning UT's campus is. The conservative students we talked to mentioned that they felt unwelcomed, silenced by the majority of UT's student body.
Yeah, we also found that students faced a lot of obstacles in registering to vote and actually voting, but were willing to stand in lines for almost 2 hours long at Flan Academic Center on Election Day. And despite the election's outcome being disappointing to many, students are still engaged and really passionate about what they believe in.
Absolutely. I mean, I can only imagine the lines, so the passion is definitely showing through and through.
And to read this story, you can visit reportingtexas.com.
The upcoming legislative session already has more than 900 bills to decide on. Starting in January, the 88th Texas Legislative House will be in session, and lawmakers will get to deliberate bills on different topics, ranging from women's sports and gun safety all the way to abolishing daylight savings time.
I think based on both what the winning candidates have said and what we've heard in the campaigns, we know there will be a lot of attention paid to tax reduction with a particular emphasis on property taxes.
Henson also expects economic incentives, water, and infrastructure to be the top issues.
2 years after Austinites voted yes on Project Connect, Austin Transit Partnership released a new design. It includes a streetcar-level rail system through downtown. Progress on the project has already expanded bus lines and the Metro Rail Red Line. The project overall has faced budget challenges, with costs predicted to soar due to inflation and design changes. Austin City Council and Cap Metro are expected to vote on the rail design next year.
Coming up, reporter Sloan Wick will be in studio to tell us how this next graduating class has had a college experience like no other.
And stay tuned to find out if the cold weather is here to stay.
The hardest thing with mental health is it becomes a spiral. And sometimes all you literally need is a little catalyst to help you to stop.
When I'm in pain or when I'm suffering, I have a really hard time reaching out and asking for help.
I know it's so hard to talk about mental health, but when you don't talk about it, you feel more isolated, you feel more alone.
If you feel something in your gut, if you feel something's wrong, you should, talk to them about that.
Sometimes starting a conversation with someone about their mental health can seem awkward, but your support can make a huge difference.
And I think that that's hopeful in those really dark times.
You might not know what to say, but there are a lot of things you can say to open things up.
I know you're going through some stuff, and I want you to know I'm here.
I deal with the same issues as well.
Maybe it's me, but I was wondering if you're all right.
Learn more about how to start the conversation at seizetheawkward.org.
Whether it be sports, music, or art, we're all good at different things. But when it comes to texting and driving, no one's good at that.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking. Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Marks the first time members of the class who had COVID-19 hit during their freshman year will be graduating.
From online classes to canceled football games, these students have been around to see the full impact of COVID on the 40 acres. Reporting Texas TV's Sloan Wick found out how the pandemic affected these students' college experience.
Over 2,500 UT students will be graduating next month. I was able to talk to one graduating senior about her experience during COVID.
In 2022, COVID-19 sent UT Austin online, leaving classrooms without students and students like Alexis Sanders without classrooms.
You go from being in class and being able to ask your neighbor some help with a question to now you're on a little box on a Zoom screen.
Many student jobs, opportunities, and social places disappeared.
Students were losing opportunities to intern, to study abroad. Student organizations were having a hard time.
I was supposed to study abroad in Milan, so I wasn't able to do that, which was like heartbreaking. And then I tried again, and that was canceled too. So after those 2 attempts, I couldn't study abroad in college because of the way that my degree plan worked.
COVID-19 also changed the way Sanders and her peers' resumes looked.
Because students were sent home mid-semester and weren't brought back until almost a year later, students' resumes now lack continuing work. But UT career counselors say they found ways to grow professionally and personally.
Critical thinking, diversity and inclusion, right? So these skills are things that you can get from a variety of experiences. It's not just an internship. It's not just being president of your organization. So I don't think that a student who's experienced the majority of their college career during COVID has a less of an edge.
You're dealing with more than previous cohorts in college had to deal with. And so maybe you're even going to be better at adapting to unpredictability.
I look at the positives and what the good things that came out of COVID were. And I think that a relationship with my family, I was able to spend like a lot of quality time with them that I definitely wouldn't have gotten. I was able to just, focus on myself and what I really want to do.
Sanders has now accepted a job, which will begin in July. She plans to use the time in between to finally go abroad. For more information about the coming graduation, visit reportingtexas.com.
6 weeks after he was shot by police in San Antonio, 17-year-old Eric Cantu's father shared a photo of him smiling in the hospital. Cantu was severely injured on October 2nd when he was shot by police officer James Brennard, who claimed he believed the vehicle Cantu was driving was stolen. Brennard has since been fired, and Cantu's parents say although he needs further surgery, they are grateful he is recovering.
As we round up week 6 of flu season, the Department of State Health Services continues to encourage people to get their flu vaccination. The number of people getting the flu has been low since 2020 because of COVID-19. You can protect yourself by wearing a mask. The CDC says anyone 6 months and older should get the flu shot.
And the last thing we really want to avoid is having a double infection with both flu and COVID-19.
To find out which vaccination center is closest to you, visit vaccines.gov.
A new vaccine being developed right here at UT could help treat a common infection a lot of people get this time of year. RSV can infect your lungs and respiratory tract. It's more common in infants and the elderly and can make them severely ill. UT professor Dr. Robert McClellan says the first RSV vaccine could be available as soon as next year.
The clinical trials have been going on for years, and the phase 3 results are coming out now. I think it's the expectation is that we will have licensed RSV vaccines sometime next year in 2023, probably in time for the peak season.
Texas has seen a steady decline in RSV cases the past few weeks, but experts still urge caution as flu and COVID cases are starting to pick up as the weather gets colder.
On Tuesday, Hays County Commissioners approved the purchase of Narcan holsters for the Hays County Sheriff's Office. The nearly $5,000 investment will supply 97 holsters for officers. Each one can holds 2 Narcan nasal spray applications. This is part of Hays County Sheriff's efforts to combat the increase of overdose deaths. In the past year, 4 Hays County students have died from fentanyl overdoses.
Coming up, Turkey Week is among us. What to expect for the holiday forecast so you can focus on nothing but your gobble gobble.
And find out how the UT women's basketball team did against the Yukon Huskies.
We want to be that safe space for each other for the rest of our lives.
She protects me, I protect her. We are officially going to start a family. We will protect them from anything. I'm in the fire department and I'm in the National Guard.
Packing out for drill. I was tasked to administer the vaccine in Oxford, so I saw firsthand what we were dealing with.
We decided to approach the vaccine with openness. A lot of questions were asked. When the vaccine was available to us, we were able to get it. Her mom is very immune compromised.
We've not lost anyone close to us from COVID. I really think so much of that is due to the vaccine. I don't know what would have happened if my mom would have gotten COVID. I'm glad I don't know.
I got the vaccine for others. I was worried about passing it on.
People are worried about the vaccine and what effects that might have later. I'm worried about living in the time that I have right now. I want to enjoy my mom and my grandparents while they are here. This time right now is precious to me.
So I was walking down the passenger side of my truck. Literally as I was tossing that debris, 2 chairs in the back of my truck, my truck hit me, and it took me a few seconds to realize what had happened, but I was on my back on the side of the road on the shoulder, and I look up, I see the guardrail on my right. I'm thinking, okay, I'm not supposed to be here. I look over to my left, and that's the back of my truck. We have families at home also, and we like to go home to them every day, just like how you go home to them every day. Just to be aware of your surroundings when you're driving. You never know what's going to be in front of you, what other people might be doing around you, just to make it a safer place for everyone.
Hey, Gwen posted her new dessert online. That is so good. Look, you gotta look at it. It's her finest work.
Talk or text later. Don't let your phone drive you.
Next time, I am turning you off.
Yum, yum, yum. That's good.
Well, ladies, it's been so cold lately, I've had to pull out all my winter clothes just for this week.
I know. Peyton, please tell me that we are going to see some nicer weather.
Well, ladies, it looks like it will gradually warm up next week, which is a good sign, but it won't come without some rain, too. Let's see what the forecast looks like right now. As you can see, some students are enjoying the higher temperatures today on the Littlefield patio. It looks like these temps will continue into the upcoming week. It's a little breezy, but I'm sure a lot of us are glad to see the sun peeking out of the clouds. It's nice and sunny right now with a high of 59, so you might want to shed the winter jacket and sport a lighter coat for now. This warm weather won't last long, though. If you're going to a friend's dinner tonight, you will want to match a coat with your outfit because the temps are going to drop significantly with a low of 43. Tomorrow, we can get back to those really cold temperatures, with the high only getting up to 55 and a low of 43. It will be cloudy on Friday with only a 10% chance of rain until late hours of tomorrow night, when the chance gets up to 33%. Now let's take it to the week ahead. We'll see temperatures dip back down into the 40s and 50s over the weekend with a chance of rain on Saturday. The rain will return again, but we're starting to see those highs slowly rise into the 60s as the week continues, with lows staying around the mid-40s. By next week, the temperature will get, but we'll have a pleasant and rainy holiday. I am so excited for the break, I must say.
I know, I'm excited for these cold weathers. Makes me feel like I'm at home.
I can't stand the cold, but thank you so much for giving us exactly what we need to focus on for the weeks coming up.
Of course, you know, maybe bring a...
Coming up, Texas basketball is the underdog. What happened against Washington Gonzaga team after the break?
And later, what happened to hopeful Taylor Swift fans when they tried to secure tour tickets? Stay tuned.
COVID-19 has changed how we stomp the yard and feel the beat. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Is it safe?
Should I get it? Is it free?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
COVID-19 has changed how we vibe. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Is it safe? Should I get it? Is it free?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Good evening, I'm Christina Folsom with your sports update. Longhorns men's basketball made a statement win in the Moody Center against the number 2 Gonzaga Bulldogs. The Horns kenneled the Bulldogs 93-74 behind Tyrese Hunter's 26 points, and stifling defense prevented the Bulldogs from getting back into the game. Coach Chris Beard believed the biggest advantage they had were the fans in attendance.
Probably most important, and never gets old saying this, the crowd. I thought tonight we had one of the best crowds in college basketball to this point this season. I think our crowd can get better. And they were great tonight. Season ticket holders, can't thank you enough. People that wear burnt orange, come early, stay late. We got to figure out that team picture at the end.
The Horns packed in over 11,000 fans into Moody Center, setting the attendance record for the young season. Students wanting to go to Texas basketball games this season have a lot of planning to make before arriving at the arena. Ethan Ferguson is live in studio with some tips.
After months of college football, college basketball is officially back and in a new venue. The Moody Center is the new home for UT basketball games, but students continue to deal with the same lines. I went to a game to speak with students who had been in line for hours.
As soon as the gates opened, we got there and we got standing room, and right now we got here at like 5:10.
And just under 3 hours before.
Yeah. You don't get at the student section if you don't get here early.
Javier was one out of hundreds of students that showed up early and waited in line for a seat in the coveted student section for the season opener against UTEP. Students started showing up around 5 hours before tip-off, and the line stretched around the southeast corner of the stadium.
I think it's just a better experience for students, but I also think on the flip side of that, it makes more students want to come, makes it more makes everyone more excited, and so that obviously makes the lines worse and definitely a lot more problematic than the Frank Irvin Center.
The new student section, known as the Corral, encompasses the lower bowl. It has 250 fewer seats for students than the Frank Irvin Center. Overflow fits 550 students all the way at the top of the arena balcony.
Yeah, it's a little bit less, but 270 degrees courtside is unbeatable. No one else in the country is doing that.
Texas basketball has done a lot to incentivize students to come to the game early. At tonight's game, they allow the first 1,000 students to receive a free dose of Raising Cane's chicken. And additionally, tonight's theme, jean shorts. Head coach Chris Beard has emphasized student involvement with the team since setting foot in Austin back in 2021.
This is why you come to Texas, to play in games like this. That's why I think you're a season ticket holder. And it's why you're a student in the Corral.
Up next for the Texas Longhorns is a road trip to Edinburgh to take on Northern Arizona in the Leon Black Classic on Monday, November 21st.
The first top 5 matchup of the NCAA women's basketball season pitted two of the sport's best backcourts against each other. The number 5 ranked Huskies defeated visiting number 3 Longhorns 83-76. Ozzie Fudd could not miss, scoring a career-high 32 points for the Huskies, and Sonia Morris led the Longhorns with 21 points. Up next for the Longhorns is a home matchup with Marquette on Saturday. I was at that basketball game last night, actually, and let me tell you, it was electric. Did y'all have the chance to go? I want to go, but seeing those lines, I'm now a little afraid to get there, but I'd love to attend. It looks really fun.
Same for me. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to steer clear of the Moody Center for a little bit, but thank you so much, Christina and Mr. Ferguson. Coming up, we do have a lot in store. The Black Panther lives on. Wakanda may truly be forever.
And stick around to find out which artists landed Grammy nominations this year.
Yo me vacuné para poder visitar a mi abuela, para poder darle un abrazo a mi tío,
para poder estar a gusto con mi familia y proteger no solamente a mí, pero a toda mi comunidad.
I got vaccinated because I wanted to do my part to stop the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
Yo decidí tomar la vacuna porque como sobreviviente del cáncer, yo sé que tenía que proteger a mí misma y también a mi familia y la comunidad.
Decidí vacunarme principalmente para cuidar de mí y de mis seres queridos, para protegerlos a ellos y también para proteger a toda la comunidad.
Ya porque recibí la vacuna, estoy lista para ver el primer juego de Austin FC Fútbol.
Una de las cosas que estoy más esperanzada en poder hacer después de vacunarme
Ya es todo.
es reunirme con mis seres queridos, pero también continuar el trabajo con personas que han sido afectadas y poder recuperarnos todos juntos.
Me da mucho gusto poder visitar a mi madre, abrazarla y trabajar en comunidad con las gentes que vienen a El Buen Samaritano.
After I got vaccinated, my wife and I went out to our favorite restaurant and had a wonderful dinner. Now that I'm vaccinated, I have the ability to get together with friends and family, to go to a concert.
Yo me vacuné para escapar de mi casa, para poder ver mis amigos y ver mi familia.
I'm looking forward to seeing family that lives out of town and celebrating all of our upcoming events.
¡Vacúnate!
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 Por su familia.
For your friends.
Y la comunidad.
One of Marvel's most popular series had a record-breaking weekend at the box office. Black Panther's Wakanda Forever earned over $330 million last weekend. The highly anticipated sequel is now the second biggest movie debut this year, trailing behind another Marvel movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Where Taylor Swift goes, her fans follow. 14 million Swifties flocked to Ticketmaster this week to try their luck at securing highly coveted Eras tour tickets. However, fans with pre-sale codes were met with technical errors on the Ticketmaster website, leaving many frustrated. Ticketmaster attributed the system glitch to unprecedented site traffic.
This has been a very musical year. The Grammy Awards recently announced nominations, and 14 Texans are on the list. Beyoncé is the most nominated artist this year with 9 nominations for her album Renaissance. Other Texans on the list include Post Malone, Lizzo, and Kelly Clarkson. The Grammy Awards will take place on February 5th in Los Angeles. Thanks for joining us tonight on Reporting Texas TV.
If you'd like to check out any of our stories or our newscasts, please visit reportingtexas.com. We'll see you the Thursday after Thanksgiving, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.